Ladies and gentlemen, consistency is not glamorous, it doesn't shine like talent, and it's rarely celebrated like victory. Yet consistency is the invisible force behind every meaningful accomplishment. It's not just about showing up once, it's about showing up every day, rain or shine, success or failure. Today I want to talk to you about why you must force yourself to be consistent, not because it's easy, but because it's the path that transforms chaos into order and potential into reality. Discipline is not a talent you either have or don't have. It is not a trait you're born with or inherit. It is a skill, and like any skill, it requires training, practice, and dedication to develop. Think of discipline as a muscle. It's like your physical body. If you don't work out, your muscles atrophy, but with consistent effort, they grow stronger. Your willpower is the same. It must be exercised daily. You cannot simply expect to wake up one day and find that you are disciplined. You must force yourself to be disciplined, even when it's inconvenient, uncomfortable, or unexciting. This idea of discipline as a muscle is important because it allows us to understand that consistency is not about forcing ourselves into perfection each time we act. It's about developing the ability to act regardless of how we feel or what external circumstances may be present. Think about the days when everything seems off. The mornings when you'd rather hit the snooze button. The moments when doubt creeps in and convinces you that what you're doing doesn't matter or that it's too hard. On those days, discipline is not about performing at your best, but rather about showing up. It's about doing the thing anyway. That is the foundation of discipline, the ability to push through discomfort. The strength of this muscle lies in your willingness to act consistently, even when everything inside of you is telling you to quit. If you look at any successful individual, you'll find a common thread. They are not the most talented people, nor are they the smartest. They are the ones who have developed the discipline to show up every single day. It doesn't matter if it's raining or if they're feeling down. It doesn't matter if they're facing setbacks. They get up and do the work. And because they do, over time, they achieve things that most people only dream of. Discipline is the cornerstone of that achievement. You see, talent is often overrated and luck is fleeting. What's left when talent fades and luck runs out? Discipline. But here's the catch: discipline isn't about grand gestures, it's about small actions repeated over time. We often expect huge leaps forward, but real change is built on incremental steps. It's not about doing something once in a while, it's about creating a pattern of behavior that over time builds momentum. The problem is that too many people expect instant gratification. They want results without putting in the work. But the results come from the process, the day in, day out work. It is the repetition of your efforts that builds success, and success is never linear. It's a steady progression. So when you force yourself to follow through, even on the days when it's tough, you're investing in your future self. You are creating habits, and those habits are forming the foundation of your success. When you force yourself to practice discipline, you also begin to develop a deeper understanding of who you are. It's one thing to talk about wanting to achieve something, but it's another thing to be able to get up every morning and do the work even when it feels pointless, even when the results aren't visible right away. This is where true growth happens. It's in the struggle, the repetition, the action. You learn more about yourself through doing, and you realize that discipline isn't about following orders or forcing yourself into compliance. It's about creating freedom through structure. The more consistent you are, the more empowered you become. You gain the ability to control your actions, regardless of how chaotic or unpredictable life may seem. At first, it feels like a burden. But as you push through those early days, something begins to shift. It becomes less about effort and more about identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who has to force discipline into their life and begin to view yourself as a person who is disciplined. The act of forcing yourself becomes internalized, automatic. It becomes a part of your character. And when that happens, the results follow effortlessly. However, this process is not easy. It's not a quick fix, and it's certainly not glamorous. Discipline is often grueling, boring, and uncomfortable. It requires you to confront your own weaknesses, your own resistance. But here's the beauty of it: once you've been consistent for long enough, the struggle fades and you start seeing the rewards. Discipline, at its core, is an investment in your future. It's a deliberate act of self-respect. It says to the world, I value myself enough to keep going, and that is a message that resonates deeply not just with you, but with those around you as well. The strength of your discipline isn't measured by how hard you push yourself on the good days, but by how relentlessly you show up on the tough ones. It's in the days when you don't want to get out of bed but do anyway. It's in the days when failure seems certain but you try again. And with each act of discipline, no matter how small, you reaffirm your commitment to becoming a person who can do the hard things day in and day out. This is where real power lies. Not in the occasional act of brilliance, but in the steady, reliable daily demonstration of consistency. And so when you feel resistance, when the urge to quit is strong, remember discipline is not about perfection. It's about doing the work, showing up, and strengthening the muscle that will carry you forward no matter what. Success is often glorified in terms of grand achievements, those breakthrough moments where everything falls into place and you can finally say, I made it, but what the world often overlooks is the slow, steady work that precedes those moments. True success is not the result of one massive, earth-shattering event. It is the product of small, consistent actions taken over time. This is where the power of consistency comes in. Consistency is what allows you to convert effort into tangible results. You might not see the fruits of your labor immediately, but every small action you take compounds over time, creating momentum that will inevitably lead you to greater success. Take a moment to consider something as simple as saving money. If you save just $10 a day at the end of the month, you've accumulated $300. In a year, that small action grows to $3,650. It's easy to dismiss the idea of saving only a small amount each day. $10 seems insignificant compared to the larger sum you might aim for. But what happens when you apply this kind of consistency to other areas of your life? Imagine writing just 1 page a day. You might feel that it's too small of a contribution to ever write a book, but in a year, that effort will accumulate into 365 pages of full manuscript. This is the true power of consistency. When you act every day, regardless of how much you may accomplish in the moment, you're building a larger whole. Now, this doesn't mean that you won't face setbacks or that everything will be smooth sailing. There will be days when progress feels painfully slow. Perhaps one day you sit down to write and it feels like the words just won't come. Or you go for a run and your body feels sluggish as if it's fighting against you. In those moments, it's easy to question whether the small actions are even worth it. But this is where the magic happens. It's in the days when you push through despite the resistance that the compound effect truly starts to reveal its value. The cumulative result of those consistent actions begins to snowball, and even when progress seems hidden, it's taking root. Think about a snowball rolling down a hill. At first it's small and barely noticeable, but with each turn it picks up more snow, growing larger and larger as it descends. Your consistent efforts are like that snowball. The early stages might not look impressive, but as you continue, the effects begin to compound, and soon you've built something much greater than you could have imagined at the start. The key is not to give up too early, not to judge your efforts based on their immediate return. Trust that the small actions, when repeated consistently, will yield results over time. This is true not only in physical pursuits like writing or exercise, but also in personal growth and learning. If you commit to learning something new every day, even just a small amount, you will eventually reach a level of mastery that would have been unthinkable when you first started. Knowledge compounds just like any other effort. One small insight, one new piece of information each day, eventually adds up to deep understanding. The consistent pursuit of growth, even in the smallest increments, builds expertise that can be applied to virtually every area of your life. But the benefits of consistency go beyond just the results they produce. Consistency also builds a level of resilience that helps you navigate the ups and downs of life. By practicing something consistently, you train yourself to push through challenges, setbacks, and frustrations. You develop an internal strength that is unaffected by the fluctuations of motivation or external circumstances. Whether you feel inspired or defeated, you continue. You train yourself to see the process as more important than the immediate outcome. This approach reduces the fear of failure, because you know that success doesn't happen in one go. It's the result of a process, and if you're consistent, the process will always lead you forward. What happens over time is that consistency starts to work its way into every aspect of your life. The habits you cultivate through consistent action become the foundation of your character. You begin to view yourself as someone who follows through, who shows up, who refuses to quit. This isn't just about building a skill or achieving a specific goal, it's about transforming your identity. You stop thinking of yourself as someone who wants to be successful, and instead you start seeing yourself as someone who is successful, not because of any one achievement, but because of the consistent actions you take towards success each day. There's a subtle shift that happens when you start to embrace the power of small, consistent actions. The world may not notice your progress at first, but you will. And eventually that will become the driving force behind your success. The truth is, consistency doesn't just create results, it creates a mindset. It's not about getting it right every time or having a perfect, unbroken record. It's about making the decision to act over and over again, even when it feels tedious or unimportant. In the end, that's what will propel you forward and bring you closer to the goals and the life you desire. The compounding effects of small, consistent actions will always outweigh the fleeting excitement of big, sporadic bursts of effort. The secret to success lies not in finding a shortcut, but in committing to the long road of consistency, where every small step, no matter how insignificant it seems in the moment, takes you one step closer to where you want to be. The truth about discipline and about the pursuit of any meaningful goal is that it's often uncomfortable. It's not glamorous. It's not something you do only when you feel inspired or motivated. The reality is that consistency often means showing up even when your emotions don't align with your actions. Motivation is fleeting. There will be days when you wake up feeling drained, when the task before you seems impossible, and the temptation to quit is overwhelming. On those days, the key is not to wait for motivation to kick in, but to simply do the work anyway. When you feel the weight of resistance pressing down on you, that's when your commitment to consistency will be truly tested. It's not on the days when everything is going smoothly, but on the days when you're faced with discomfort, doubt, or fatigue that your real progress is made. This is where you separate the talkers from the doers. Talk is easy. It's easy to say you'll work hard, to say that you'll show up. But when it gets difficult, when you're mentally exhausted or emotionally drained, that's when your true character is revealed. You can't wait for inspiration or for your emotions to line up with your goals. In those moments, the secret is to act anyway. It's in these moments of resistance that you must remind yourself of your long-term goals. The discomfort you feel today will pass. In fact, it's likely that your feelings will change the moment you start moving. Often, the hardest part of any endeavor is simply starting. Once you begin, once you take that first step, the inertia of your own actions will take over. Your emotions will eventually follow suit. But if you wait for the perfect mood, the perfect day, or the perfect alignment of circumstances, you'll never take that first step. And without that first step, there can be no progress. The truth is that discomfort is part of the growth process. It's something we all face, no matter what our goals are. If you're trying to improve your physical health, there will be mornings when the bed feels too comfortable, when your body aches and the thought of getting up and exercising seems unbearable. If you're building a career, there will be days when the work feels tedious, when you question whether it's all worth it, when you wonder if you'll ever see the results you're hoping for. These are the moments when consistency is truly tested. The days when it feels difficult are the days that count the most. They are the days that separate those who achieve from those who fall by the wayside. You must embrace the discomfort that comes with pushing through these moments of resistance. In fact, it's the very act of pushing through that builds strength, resilience, and character. By forcing yourself to do what you said you would do, even when you don't feel like it, you train your mind and body to respond to commitment rather than to emotions. And in the long run, this ability to act, despite discomfort, will be your greatest asset. This is where true self-discipline comes from, not in avoiding discomfort, but in choosing to act in spite of it. Each time you make that choice, you reinforce your belief in your own ability to overcome obstacles. You begin to trust yourself more deeply. And that trust is priceless because it builds confidence. When you push through the discomfort, you prove to yourself that you are capable of handling the challenges that life throws your way. You show yourself that you can do hard things, and that belief becomes the foundation for further progress. What's fascinating is that the discomfort you feel when you push through is often far less intense than you imagine. It's our minds that amplify the resistance, convincing us that the discomfort will last forever. But in reality, discomfort is temporary. It passes quickly. Once you've completed the task that once seemed impossible, you'll often look back and wonder why it felt so daunting in the first place. In fact, many of us find that we're stronger than we think once we step into the discomfort, that we can tolerate more than we initially believed. And the more we face that discomfort and overcome it, the easier it becomes to handle in the future. Discomfort also has a way of breaking us out of our comfort zones and teaching us new lessons. It's often only when we step outside our normal patterns, when we push ourselves into the unfamiliar, that we grow. We may find new strengths, new insights, and even new strategies for overcoming the challenges we face. Over time, discomfort stops feeling like a threat and starts to feel like a signal that we are on the right path, that we are growing, that we are becoming better versions of ourselves. Consistency in the face of discomfort is what leads to transformation. It's easy to quit when things get tough, but it takes something more, something deeper to keep going. That's where true progress lies. Every time you force yourself to continue despite how you feel, you are not only advancing toward your goal, but you are also shaping yourself into someone who is capable of achieving anything they set their mind to. And when you finally reach the goal you've been striving for, you'll realize that it was not the destination, but the journey of pushing through discomfort time and time again that made the achievement so meaningful. The power of consistency extends far beyond simply achieving specific goals. It has a deeper, more profound impact on the person you become through the process. When you commit to consistent action, you are not just shaping the outcomes of your efforts, you are shaping your identity. The habits you build, the discipline you develop, and the character you forge through consistent action become the foundation of who you are. Over time, your actions stop feeling like isolated tasks, and instead they begin to define the kind of person you are becoming. We often think of success as something external, something we can measure by the goals we reach or the accolades we accumulate. But the truth is, success isn't just about what you achieve, it's about who you become in the process of striving for those achievements. The person who wakes up every day and continues to push forward, even when they don't feel like it, is not the same person they were when they started. They've evolved. Their identity has been transformed by the consistent actions they've taken. This is why consistency is so powerful. It's not just about completing tasks, it's about becoming the kind of person who does what they say they will, who follows through and who never gives up. When you force yourself to be consistent, you create an image of yourself as someone who is reliable, someone who can be counted on to show up and do the work, regardless of the circumstances. Over time, this sense of self-trust becomes part of your core identity. You stop questioning whether you will follow through because you know you will. Your word becomes solid because your actions consistently align with it. And when you reach this level of self-trust, the world begins to respond to you differently. People begin to take you more seriously because you've proven to them and to yourself that you are someone who delivers on their promises. The power of consistency isn't just about building external results, but about building internal confidence. The more you push through resistance and continue showing up, the more you strengthen your belief in your ability to succeed. When you look back on the moments when you almost quit but chose to keep going, you realize something remarkable: you've already overcome much of the hardest part. The real challenge isn't in achieving the goal, it's in building the resolve to pursue it consistently. This is where you build the character that makes the achievement meaningful. It's the journey of becoming the person who doesn't quit, who persists when others would give up. And this resilience becomes your new identity. Moreover, the act of being consistent with your efforts transforms your relationship with failure. Failure is inevitable on the path to success. It is not a question of whether you will fail, but when and how you will respond to it. But when you are someone who consistently shows up, failure no longer feels like a defeat. Instead, it becomes a stepping stone, an integral part of the process. You understand that failure is not a sign that you are not capable, but a sign that you are pushing your limits, trying new things and learning. Your commitment to consistency means that you can face failure with a sense of confidence and resilience, knowing that it is simply a part of the journey, not the end of it. This transformation in identity is crucial. Once you internalize the belief that you are someone who follows through, that consistency is part of who you are. It becomes easier to push through difficult times. You don't have to force yourself to take action anymore. It becomes second nature. You don't have to remind yourself to show up because you've built a habit of it. Your actions align with your identity, and that alignment makes everything easier. It stops feeling like an effort and starts feeling like an extension of who you are. And this change is not confined to just one area of your life. As you build consistency in one aspect, be it health, career, or personal development, you'll find that it begins to spill over into other areas as well. You start becoming the kind of person who consistently works toward improvement, who is reliable, and who perseveres. But perhaps the most profound shift occurs when you realize that you are not chasing success in a single moment or a final outcome. You are building a life of purpose and meaning through the daily choices you make. It's the consistency of showing up day after day that gives your life depth and significance. Each day you are sculpting your future with the small actions you take. And in this process, you begin to realize that success is not a destination. Success is a state of being, one where you are consistently aligned with your highest values, where your actions reflect the person you aspire to be. The consistency you commit to, even on the days when it feels insignificant, is shaping not just your results, but the very essence of who you are. You are forging a version of yourself who is relentless in the pursuit of growth and achievement, and that version of yourself will inevitably create the life you desire. This is the ultimate power of consistency. It allows you to evolve, to become the person who is capable of achieving your wildest dreams. The more you act in alignment with your values and goals, the more you solidify that identity within yourself. And with each action, you become closer to the person you were always meant to be. Consistency doesn't just bring external results, it has a profound impact on your mental and emotional resilience. The more you push through discomfort, the more you develop the mental strength necessary to tackle life's inevitable challenges. Life will test you time and time again. There will be moments when you are tempted to give up, when it feels easier to walk away from the path you've committed to. But each time you push through those difficult moments, you build the mental fortitude to deal with whatever comes next. Your capacity to persevere in the face of adversity grows stronger with every challenge you face. Every time you show up when you don't feel like it, every time you do the work, even when motivation is lacking, you prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you thought. You develop a deeper trust in your ability to handle discomfort, to rise above doubt, and to keep moving forward. This mental resilience is invaluable because it translates not only to your pursuit of specific goals, but to every area of your life. The challenges you face in your career, in your relationships, or in your personal growth will no longer feel as overwhelming when you've built the habit of pushing through discomfort. When you've cultivated consistency, the mental barriers that once seemed insurmountable begin to shrink. What once felt impossible becomes manageable because you've taught yourself to keep going, no matter how hard it gets. In those tough moments, the key is to focus not on the external rewards, but on the internal strength you're building. Discipline is an act of self-respect. Each time you follow through on your commitments, even when it's hard, you are telling yourself that you are worth the effort. You are showing yourself that you can trust your own word. This is a powerful shift. Too many people fall into the trap of giving up when things get tough because they believe their goals are unattainable. But when you stay consistent, even in the face of difficulty, you start to build an internal belief that you are capable of achieving anything you set your mind to. This mental toughness becomes an asset that serves you throughout your life. The consistency you develop in times of struggle also teaches you patience. When you consistently show up, you begin to understand that results take time. Instant gratification becomes less appealing when you learn the power of slow, steady progress. You no longer expect immediate returns for your efforts. You understand that the work itself is valuable regardless of how quickly results appear. This mindset shift is liberating because it frees you from the constant cycle of disappointment that comes when things don't happen as quickly as you want. You learn to trust the process, and that trust allows you to keep moving forward even when you don't see the immediate fruits of your labor. Another profound aspect of consistency is its ability to transform your sense of purpose. When you commit to something with consistency, you are making an active choice to align your actions with your deeper values and goals. This brings a sense of meaning to everything you do, even the smallest tasks. As you build momentum, you see the purpose in every action, and that purpose becomes the fuel that drives you forward. Whether it's pursuing a career, maintaining a healthy lifestyle, or developing your creative potential, consistency allows you to stay focused on the bigger picture. You realize that each step you take, no matter how small, is part of something much greater than yourself. This clarity of purpose provides you with the motivation to continue, even when challenges arise. You know that every action you take is contributing to something meaningful, and that is a powerful motivator. Consistency also nurtures a sense of personal pride. There is a deep satisfaction that comes with knowing you followed through, that you've stayed true to your commitments, even when it was difficult. This feeling of accomplishment doesn't come from the external validation of others, but from within. When you have the discipline to keep going, when you can look back and see how far you've come, you can take pride in your own effort. This internal pride is far more lasting than the fleeting praise that might come from others. It's a reflection of your own growth, and it creates a strong sense of self-worth. Over time, this sense of pride becomes a motivating force in itself. The more consistent you are, the more you reinforce the belief that you are capable, that you are someone who can follow through, and that you have the power to shape your own destiny. The beauty of consistency lies in its quiet, almost invisible power. You might not notice the effects right away. You might wonder during tough days if the effort is even worth it. But if you stay the course, if you keep showing up and doing the work, you will start to see the transformation not just in your results, but in yourself. You become someone who does not give up. You become someone who embraces the process, who can weather the storms because you've learned that discomfort is temporary, but the strength you build through consistent effort lasts a lifetime. You become a person who knows that no matter what happens, you have the mental resilience, the patience, and the inner strength to keep going. This shift in identity is one of the most powerful outcomes of consistency. It's not about having the perfect day every day. It's about learning to show up and give your best, regardless of external circumstances. It's about having the mental toughness to keep going and knowing that in the end, consistency will carry you further than you could have ever imagined. In the face of adversity, you will realize that you are stronger than you thought, and that realization is a powerful catalyst for further growth. In conclusion, the power of consistency is undeniable. It is the bedrock on which all lasting success is built. Consistency is not about achieving perfection or reaching a grand goal overnight. It's about showing up every day, regardless of how you feel, and committing to the process. It's about pushing through discomfort, building mental resilience, and transforming not just your results, but your identity. Through consistency, you cultivate habits that align with your deepest values, and in doing so, you reshape your life. The path of consistency is often hard, filled with moments when the urge to quit seems overwhelming. Yet it is in those very moments when you force yourself to keep going that true growth happens. Over time, you develop an unwavering belief in yourself, in your ability to persevere through anything life throws your way. The discipline you build becomes the foundation of your success and the lens through which you view the world. As you continue to push forward, regardless of external circumstances, you will see that consistency isn't just a tool for achieving goals, it is a way of life. It teaches you patience, resilience, and an unshakable belief in your own capacity for growth. And when you look back on all the small actions, all the days you showed up despite the obstacles, you'll realize that the transformation was not just about the results, but about the person you became along the way. Consistency is the quiet force that turns ordinary efforts into extraordinary outcomes, and in embracing it, you unlock the limitless potential within you.